Good evening. I want to welcome all of you to this lecture in our leadership lecture series featuring our alumni. Our speaker today is Vishy. He is leading a world-class R&D team in delivering research breakthroughs, internal technology ventures, and helping to grow Alcatel-Lucent's business. He's passionate about entrepreneurship and innovation, and I'm sure that a lot of you would find some references to it very interesting in his talk. For Vishy's information, many of our students, compared to your days and my days, are now much more inclined towards entrepreneurship, and so I'm sure they will appreciate any insights you can give them. He does mentor startups in Bangalore. He advises Indian companies in creating a strong innovation practice. For current focus areas include creating novel applications, networking technologies, particularly for emerging markets. He was also the founder and CTO of GeoPepper, an Alcatel-Lucent venture delivering innovative location-based services. He has started multiple websites, including alertpedia.com. Has anybody accessed it? Oh, some people have. He's a recognized expert on business and technical aspects of mobile applications, networks, Web 2.0, and database systems. Over 20 technical papers, 40 patents, and he received the Excellence in Innovation Award in India in 2010. He's also won the Bell Labs President's Gold Award 3 times. He is, again, now head of Bell Labs India. He was also an adjunct professor at New York University earlier. We are very happy to have Vishy here, and I think we'll be seeing more of him in future. He has had some intensive discussions with computer science and electrical engineering departments, and we hope to see more of him in the near future. I invite Vishy to deliver his talk.
Okay, thank you, Professor Nagarajan, and thank you the other faculty members I met during the day. So this is fantastic. This is exactly how I feel. If you, right now I was in IIT 88 through 92, and the only place I could get in was on that side, probably in the back. It's typically late, like you guys. So I'm totally pumped up that I'm on this side. Okay. So that said, we're going to have a very interactive talk, right? This is our home. So if you find something you don't understand, if you find something that you don't agree with, call me out, right? So keep it interactive. It's not a lecture, guys. Okay, this is going to be a kind of a brain dump of thoughts and really tackling. Okay, hold on. Let me not miss this. So I'm going to start off with something totally unconnected to the talk. This is just to wake you guys up from that samosa or whatever you had outside. Okay, so let's start, and this will keep flowing until one of you gives an answer or the slide ends. So the first one to stop this lets me move on with my talk. Come on. Okay, there you go. That's good. Okay. You guys agree? Anybody disagrees? Okay, can you just very quickly tell them what you did? Okay, so you're just counting, right? On the top row you have 1, 1, right? So that's what you wrote down in the second row. Then there are 2 1s, and there's 1, 2, and 1, 1. Got it? So it's a run length encoding, right? In disks, if computer scientists, in the disk you do run length encoding. That's basically the series you're doing. Okay, good. There's now, like I said, there's nothing to do with the talk, but I'm glad. I'm glad you solved it because I didn't have one more row to go after that. So somebody got it before. That's good. Okay, now obviously I'm proud of coming from here. I'm glad you're all here. But we're going to have some nice talk about a couple of different topics, guys. This is, I deliberately wanted to keep it about questions more than answers. Because I think it's more important to ask the right questions and discuss them rather than to assume that just because I've been outside for nearly 20 years, I have all the answers, right? So these are going to be about questions, and I'll share you what views I have and then want to hear from you guys as well. Okay, so think of it like that. So first of all, some of you or many of you are entrepreneurial, and you all believe that we need to innovate something creative, something new that will change the world. So there's a simple definition of innovation that we are going to work with. Innovation is creating something new that is useful. So what is new? It didn't exist before. What is useful? Somebody is willing to pay for it. Fair? If nobody is willing to pay for it, it's probably not that useful. Let's start with that kind of fairly materialistic definition of innovation, because that seems to be what matters these days. Just to be clear about innovation versus doing research. So we're not talking in this talk so much about research as about innovations. I'll just give you one slide about Bell Labs, and the reason to put this is, and this could have been written about Google Labs or about Apple, is that when you look at some of these research labs, there's a single place that has come up with several recognizable innovations, right? I mean, from the telephone to transistor to the laser to Unix, C++, all kinds of nice things. And then there's a question one can ask, is it that Bell Labs or Google or whatever, Apple, is it that they hire really, really smart geniuses, or is it that they have a process for coming up with new ideas, right? Is that a fair question? Okay, is this magic to it? So should we all be born like this guy, who's this? Or Mona Lisa? Right? Okay, that's a controversy right there. Okay, so it's like, we all should have been born with the brain of Einstein or Da Vinci, or it is something that can be put in a manual, and what we'll try to do today is try to actually read that manual out to you. Okay, so I'll try to share what all ideas I have seen, techniques that seem to work for coming up with really cool new ideas. Okay? And just a small research interview question that you guys probably will see as you go up, is when you think of innovation, we think of an iPad, iPhone, kind of products that we can hold and touch, or services like Facebook. But innovation could also be in the way we do things. You guys recognize the thing on the right, the mechanical industrial engineers? What is that? Ford, right? The assembly line. So that's an innovation. It's not like he invented a brand new wheel, but what he's doing is just the process of engineering that has changed. That is an innovation too. So creating something valuable that is new, that's really all we are talking about. So since we said entrepreneur, I'm so glad we are going to be doing this around entrepreneurial activities, innovations. What I'm going to talk about are innovations how do you come up with innovations, and how do you take them all the way to the market? Is it interesting? Yeah? Okay, so I have we're going to be talking about 2 or 3 recipes throughout this talk. Okay, the recipe number 1, recipe is a flow chart. Recipe 1 is, you're sitting here, you want to be an entrepreneur, what do you do? Okay, so this is my flow chart, right? I always start with a problem, because as engineers, the biggest mistake we can make is to start with the solution, right? You don't want to start with the solution, you want to start with the problem. Okay, and we'll see how to pick that problem, because if you pick the right problem, you guys have cleared JEE, you can solve the problem, but if you don't pick the right problem, all the brains don't help if you're not solving useful things, right? Okay, good. So right there, he's solving a problem for me, because I need to be mobile, and he's figured out that, okay, I'm feeling kind of stuck here. Thank you so much. Do you have a way to control this? Okay, great. So we're going to start with the problem first, and then we will move on to the solution, and then obviously if having a solution is something that's in your mind, that's not going to be enough. You need to build it. So we need to prototype it. And then you need to try it out on more people until somebody says, okay, this is good and I'm going to pay you enough money, right? Or you feel really happy that you solve the problem for many people. And if you're an entrepreneur, then you'll keep going and improving the solution again and again until more people get happier. Okay? So whether it's the money that you want in the end or whether it's smiles on the faces of people, both are good. But the key is that these are certain steps that we have to go through. We're going to spend most of my time on the solution, how to come up with new ideas to solve a problem, right? Because that's kind of what I saw on the poster, that I'm supposed to be talking about the recipe for big ideas. But one important thing that you don't want to miss is the problem. So this is a little bit of a talk for researchers, innovators, but also entrepreneurs. So if you're an entrepreneur, you want to be one, start with this, right? And first of all, thank yourselves that are in India, right? Because in India, you don't have to look, and I say it as a very true loving Indian, that we don't have to look too far out for problems. There are real problems on the road. There's a traffic problem. There is a youth issue that, I want all my content on my phone, but it is either not cheap or the bandwidth is not good, right? You all know that, right? It's downloading content onto your phones is still not as good as you would like it to be. There's problems obviously the 70-80% of the folks living in villages have very little connectivity, very little access to good content. We're all so happy going to Wikipedia, but tell a kid in a village to go to Wikipedia and try to understand the content from there. It's not in English, much of the content, so it's not really that useful. So there are lots of problems in an emerging nation like India, so you should be really, next time you walk outside of this nice cozy IIT, just look for those problems, because that's really where the next big thing is going to come. Okay, and I'll just share some extempore things. Apparently, one of the things when they analyzed what made Da Vinci such a great inventor, is that he apparently always walked around with a notepad. Okay, he had a little notepad in his pocket or whatever they used to wear those days, and would write down every little observation that sounded a little bit out of the ordinary. Okay, the leaf fell this way, half the leaves fall with upside down. Why is it happening? Why are they falling this way? Right? I mean, the same thing. If you think of Newton, right? You observe small things, but the thing that Da Vinci apparently did was to write down. So she's doing a great job writing things down in her notebook. So please record your problems. Don't let them go, okay? As much as possible, or ideas. So first, find problems. The second, if you think about, you think you have found a real problem, be very clear about whose problem you're solving. Okay, because there's a very normal tendency among entrepreneurs to say, this is a problem, I think, for young women or young men living in China. And because China has a 1.5 billion people, if I solve this problem and 1% of them use it and pay for it, I'm rich. Right? Much better way to do it is to take up an Excel sheet and write down the names of 20 people who actually have the problem that you can reach out to and say, okay, then they can confirm and say, yes, I have this problem. Okay, so the lady there has a problem with the luggage and whatever else, right? So be very clear about the problem and whose problem you're solving. Got it? So when you, as an entrepreneur, you go try to raise some funds or get more people to join your team, I always, I'm a mentor partner in a company called Head Start Ventures, which is an angel investor firm in Bangalore. The first thing I want is the problem statement and 10 people who have that problem with a phone number that I can call up. You think that's fair, right? And it's great if one of those users is yourself, because then you know the problem very well. You have a problem, you absolutely can attest and say, this is my problem and I want to solve it. Okay, so this is the problem part. So remember that little flow chart we had? We're going down that list. We solve the problem part. Any questions? Okay, so good. So don't generalize things. Keep it very specific to real people and go from there. And by the way, I do so many of these talks that I decided one way to keep it fun is to ask just throw in random slides. Okay, we'll have truly random slides here and there so that the backbenchers, the front benchers, nobody goes asleep. Okay, here's a problem. There are 3 glasses. Yeah, another problem. No. Okay, so there are, do I really need the mic?
No, it's...
I do? Okay. So the 3 of the glasses are filled with orange juice. The other 3 are empty. By moving only one glass, can you arrange them so that the full and empty glasses alternate? Okay, 1, 2, just give 1 second for 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6 glasses, 5 people. Let's go one.
Okay, you just take the second glass and pour it in the second one.
Okay, you guys agree? Okay, so there's a reason these are kind of a semi-random slides, because when I talk about how to come up with new ideas, I want to kind of give techniques for how to come up with an answer like that every time. Okay, for a new problem that you see, how do I think differently that I come up with an answer like that, right? Okay, so let's get back to our the talk. So we talked about the problem. The next thing is coming up with the solution. So where do these ideas come from? So the one idea is, of course, that you think a lot about the problem. You go to bed, you get a great dream. Like, who is that guy in organic chemistry that got that benzene ring? Kekulé, right? Fantastic. You're sharp on science. Okay, so like Kekulé, you go to sleep and in the morning you wake up and you have the answer. So you can keep waiting for that kind of spark, or you actually make it happen, right? So what we are going to do is nothing like Kekulé. We are going to come up with specific techniques that will help us come up with new ideas. Okay. So before I get to those techniques, I want to tell one thing, okay, which is about how we think. So most of us, maybe trained in the Indian education system or wherever we are trained, most of us have a tendency to think what they call critical thinking. So the critical thinking is where there is a problem and a student puts up an answer in a box, and there are faculty who have done this in IIT to me, so I know it very well. So problem, there's a box where you put the answer, and the answer should be 3.14159, and if it is 1 digit small, you cross it and you got 0 marks. You all familiar with that? Right? That is critical thinking. And of course, this is not just with the faculty. It also applies to every one of us here, is when two of you are trying to solve a problem, one comes up with an answer, says, hey, how about this answer? The first thing, as a true IITian, you're going to do is to try and find faults with the answer.